a topic which I want to talk about to Stuart Mucklejohn, who I'm talking to next, court assistants, because Stuart, your particular remit is the Education Committee, and I know that the Lightmongers have very particular, close, and also rather apt associations with schools.
Well, yes, we have a number of awards in the field of education. And yet we start really at the school level. We go right through to those who have spent a long and illustrious career in the industry. And yet we work with our affiliated schools, the Mary Hare School for the Deaf, based near Newbury, and New College Worcester School for the Blind and Partially Sighted. And I think probably Stephen Thomas will tell you more about our affiliation with those schools per se. So each year, we do have the privilege of offering them prizes, usually to the head boy and the head girl of each school. And normally we would be able to invite them to a court dinner, but of course that's not been possible for the past 2 years.
Why do you think it's important for the livery to be involved in education?
Well, there's all sorts of reasons, one of which it's in our charter. We have to do it. And the other thing I thought the master described perfectly well. We need to educate not just ourselves, not just those coming into the lighting industry, but to inform the general public as well. It's about lighting, it's about light sources, lamps. It's certainly not to do with bulbs. And you know, this is what we need to do. This is part of what every livery company has to do, to educate and support people in their chosen careers.
We have a similar commitment in leather sellers, and for example, we fund the Institute of Leather Technology at the University of Northampton, which is an international centre. And of course, it's an allied trade, as you might say, you can tell from our name. Is it also the case with you that you have an opportunity to fund apprenticeships and perhaps to give assistance to people to hurry them along in their career, to build up and sustain the human talent that's so essential to any industry?
There's a number of ways we do that, Richard. Probably the most important is our journeyman scheme. So that gives newcomers an opportunity to have a mentor from the Lightmongers, and also with support from their employers. That's important too. And we can help guide them through their early stages of their careers and help them understand some of the things which do not form part of their formal education. So I'm thinking about these kind of mysteries which suddenly hit people when they move into sort of business or any other institution. The things that you're not told about: quality management systems, environment, health and safety. Every institution, no matter what it is, has to have a finance system. And it's just important to have someone to turn to and say, hey, I'm getting a bit confused by this. What does it really mean? Just having an outsider say, well, look at it this way. And that all helps, particularly in the early stages of their careers. And of course, what I've found since I've been doing this role is that there's a lot to be learned as a mentor. Not only do you get to meet younger people coming into the industry, you're actually forced to learn things about the way the industry is changing and the way it will change in the future. And of course, we would love to expand the journeyman scheme, but we have to have mentors. So I would certainly encourage anyone who would like to be a mentor, let the clerk know, and she will certainly pass on your details to me.
It's very interesting because livery companies, it strikes me, are almost uniquely well placed to be the sort of custodians of traditions, aren't they? Because in industry, so many things, you sort of feels like that everything is almost reinvented every day, the pace of change being what it is, and the kind of managerial culture around them. Livery companies are in it for the long game, aren't they? And as a result, are able to perhaps handle that, as you say, that kind of I love the word mystery as sort of craft rather than something, a puzzle to be solved, but kind of mediates that stuff particularly well.
Yeah, that's right. The traditions live on, but the actual technology changes. And that's really what livery companies are all about, making sure that the professions and the crafts are fit for purpose in the 21st century and beyond.
What do you think are the issues that somebody young, starting out as a bright young thing, if I can call it that, in your sector needs to look out for?
Well, there's one of the, I would think we could describe as a problem with the lighting industry. It is very heavily regulated. Now, there's very good reasons for that, not the least of which is safety considerations. And you, as a young person coming in, you are faced with many, many regulations, standards, and associated documents, guidelines, and just having the opportunity to have someone who's more experienced to help you through those stages, understanding where to find help, and in some cases giving direct help, and just showing people that you've got to live with this stuff, but there's no need to be afraid of it. You can do it, you can cope with it.
And I guess if you've been dealing with the mysteries of statutes and courts and all the stuff that comes with the livery for however long that may be, that equips you perhaps quite well for finding a way through those thickets of regulation that everyone talks about.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course there is also, once you get more established in the lighting industry, there is an opportunity to form part of the committees that actually make, not necessarily the regulations, but make recommendations for those regulations and also international standards.
So you can be a very useful broker for the industry to whoever's got the authority or the power to make regulations too.
Yes, yeah, and we are part of the wider lighting industry, and that's one of the things we're certainly very good at, is helping other professional bodies within the lighting industry. And I hope that we'll be able to continue and expand that role in the future.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Stuart. Most illuminating. I'm sorry I've been waiting to say that all evening. Forgive me.